Good morning, guys. It's Mrs. Allocca. I'm here to talk to you about symbols and do a refresher course on symbolism since it's been a while since we have done it. The first thing that you need to know is in any book, there are a plethora of different potential symbols. They could be small little ones in one scene that you keep seeing repeated over again, or they could be bigger and larger and through the whole book. So the first thing to do, you need to know symbolism. It's the use of an object or an action that represents an idea or a quality. It meaning that this object or this potential action that maybe a character takes means something bigger. Okay, think big. So it's like looking at different people. A person could represent something. A place, like the settings, like in Freak the Mighty, could represent something, events or actions. You really do want to look at that word repeat, though, that you see it coming up kind of time and time again. So Mrs. Butterick and I got into a beautiful conversation over A Long Walk to Water. She has been looking at the book for years from a social studies perspective, which makes sense. She's a social studies teacher. And what can we learn from that book about people and about their actions and why they move or what they need in relation to the SDGs? I'm looking at it from a literary perspective. So we had a beautiful conversation, and one of the things in talking about symbols, we bantered about several symbols that are in that book. The most obvious being water. The characters need water. Naya needs water. Her entire day is filled with traveling back and forth to get water for her family. Or if you look at Salva and his journey and his need for sustenance and food and water and all sorts of things as he looks for safety from after being kicked out of his village and in such a terrible way. So there's a lot of different symbols. We talked about the thorn in Naya's foot as she's traveling barefoot across the desert. Where does that thorn come from? The acacia tree. I might be saying that wrong. But the fact that the tree could be a symbol. What does that represent? What could that mean? Or what does that show? I love the bird, the honey guide bird, who shows up right when Busca and Salva need it the most. Mrs. Butterick talked about the rivers. And is river a different symbol than water? That is a really cool conversation to have. So we were talking about all these potential different symbols. So what you need to do is you need to look on the line and you need to, in the book, so if you're thinking about our concentric circles activity, this is that middle circle. And you have to ask yourself, what does this potential symbol do? What does it look like? How does the character interact with it? So it's that on the line thinking. And you want to look at exactly the author's words. Use the exact language. Cite the text, the page number. What does the author say? So then once you have some symbols, like Mrs. Butterick and I came up with a whole bunch, then what you want to do is you go to your beyond the line thinking. What does this symbol show or reveal in a bigger picture? What does it show or reveal about the main character and the main character's feelings? What does it show or reveal maybe about the setting? Or what does it tell us as readers about life? Can it give us a lesson? So in looking at the tree in A Long Walk to Water, I was thinking about physically it's a tree. What does the tree do? It provides protection. Salva heads towards the bush right in chapter 1 when his teacher says to the kids, get out, head towards the bush to get away from the gunfire. So it offers like physical protection. It offers in a desert setting, it offers shade. Again, another form of protection. Later in the text, it becomes a physical symbol of water as the gentlemen in Naya's village are looking and talking about these two trees and that there's water down below them. And Naya is very disbelieving of this whole thing. So I then look and so what does that mean? Protection, safety, and that the trees are there just when the characters need it the most.